Ladies and gentlemen, Carson Wentz went down with a foot injury in training camp today. Breaking news, kind of shocking, but I am here to tell everyone to relax. Just relax. It's not a huge injury. It's a minor injury. He said he felt a tweak when he dropped back in coverage on one of those little drills, and his foot didn't feel right, so he sat out. So, he's not expected to miss any games at this point. They're going to go, further evaluation, all these things. I don't think he's going to need surgery and all these things. So, like I said, it's not a huge injury. So, all the things like the media, the fan base, you got to chill out. You got to chill out. Like, injuries like this happens all the time. Of course, it's Carson Wentz, so it's going to get blown up into proportions. Adam Schefter, ESPN is all over it already. I think he's probably trending at this point, but he went down with the foot injury, but I think he'll be back soon. Once we hear the news about how bad it is, I don't think it's really that bad. It's just a tweak. He'll miss preseason, I'm pretty sure, but he'll be ready by when the season starts, so I don't think it's going to be a big issue. And it was a non-contact injury. That's another thing to put into perspective for this injury for Carson Wentz that happened today. It was non-contact, so I don't think it's going to be really that bad of a deal. Most fans are starting to bring up old things, scenarios of injuries that happened in the past, like Peyton Manning's neck injury, how they didn't make it a big deal until it really was a big deal. The Andrew Luck injury before he retired. You know how they said it was one thing, but it was actually another, and then it wound up leading to his retirement, how he just didn't want to play football anymore. Now Carson Wentz is probably on the same verge as that with his foot injury. Some people are predicting maybe it's not the actual foot. Most people are predicting it's more than a foot injury, probably because of, misevaluations from the doctors, because, they have a history of doing that with the Colts players. But when it comes to Carson Wentz, I don't think it's really a bad injury. But on to the other side of things, Carson Wentz's performances in the training camp has been superb so far. The first day of training camp was a little rusty on the 11s, but he wound up coming back at the end and having a very phenomenal day. Yesterday, he had another phenomenal day. Carson Wentz throwing 40-yard bombs, drop back, seeing the pressure, everything. The footage is out there on Carson Wentz. Before he went down with this foot injury, he was having himself a very good training camp. We were going to talk about this later, maybe next Tuesday. I was going to go live and, with a few guys and talk training camp. But, since this news broke, I thought I'd just drop the content now. But I still go live on Tuesday, so you guys stay tuned for that. But Carson Wentz is having himself a superb training camp. But if you look on the opposite side of this, when talking about this injury, hopefully this guy, since he went out, Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger has been taking reps. Jacob Eason has been getting the starter reps, not Sam Ehlinger. Jacob Eason has been getting starter reps. So, you look at this on the bright side to warm up your backups. A lot of people was rooting for Sam Ehlinger or Jacob Eason to start in the season anyway. So maybe this will make you guys feel better. Jacob Eason, he's out there. He having himself, a good day. Sam Ehlinger also having a good day. Finding targets and throwing the football. But, like I said, this is just warming up the backups at this point. Giving them a time to run with the starters that they never do. Most backups like the Eason and them, they never run with the starters really. So the fact that Eason came out today and had the chance to do it and he had a really decent job shows promise in the future, just case scenarios, how those go, especially with our quarterback that we have now. Like I said, I think Carson would be ready for the regular season. But, Eason out there working with the starters and having a really good day is also a bright sight for the future, just in case if we have to throw him in any game that he knows what to do and he has the arm strength and talent to do so. Same thing with Sam Ehlinger, even though we know he's a little bit more mobile. I always rooted for Ehlinger over Eason anyway, but Eason does have the bigger arm. But I prefer Ehlinger. I like a mobile quarterback, especially in our system where we're going to have to need that in certain scenarios, just in case scenarios. But Jacob Eason had himself a day. Maybe what does this mean for the future of the Colts and their quarterback position? It is uncertain at this point. I think Carson Wentz will come back at the beginning of the season. But if we do have to throw another guy and just throw the safety hazard out there just to make sure Carson is fully healthy, and when he comes out there to play, he'll be ready to go. I think he'll be ready to go at the beginning of the year as well, but I wouldn't be opposed to sitting him out until he's fully ready to go. Like I say, he'll probably have some side workouts to not avoid any contact or anything. He'll probably have side workouts just to stay healthy and on a safe side for Carson Wentz, knowing his history. But like I said, it's not a huge injury. So the media blowing this up, I don't think this is, it's normal for the media to do things like this. Like I said, but I think Carson's fine. You guys let me know your thoughts on this Carson Wentz situation, if he's going to be healthy or not. But on the other side of things, talking more about training camp, besides Eason and Ellinger, and I've heard Kwity Paye has had himself a day. Ryan Kelly, he went down with an injury day one of training camp, which was shocking. So we got some Will Holden type scenarios. Sam Tevi was out there. Him versus Kwity Paye was a good matchup, but they said Kwity Paye had the upper hand on that scenario, so that's a good sight to hear for our edge rush. But like I said, winning a matchup against Sam Tevi isn't a big thing. But you got Will Holden still as a backup, so I think you're going to be adding him in there. For Ryan Kelly's injury, I think he's going to miss. I don't know how many games he's going to miss, but he went down at the day one. But I think he'll be ready for when the season starts as well. But his injury was a little bit more crucial than Carson Wentz. So that was our first real injury, but I think he'll be fine. And another thing that I thought about was when people brought up this injury with Carson Wentz and the history and the foot and everything, is how crazy it might be that they blow up this injury with Carson Wentz, but when Darius Leonard is in a walking boot, nobody says anything about Darius Leonard. I just thought that was weird that Darius Leonard, he was banged up a little bit, but we all know he's fine, and no one talks about it. They're just like, oh, okay, he'll be ready. But when Carson Wentz has a minor foot injury, everyone is uncertain about the whole scenario. I just think that's how people blow things out of proportion. I'm not worried about this injury. I'm worried free. I know he's going to be fine. I know our team's probably going to be ready for week one, even though it's going to probably be a rough one. But this is why we can't get our hopes up in certain scenarios, because anything can happen at this moment. Anything can happen before the season starts or when the season starts. So you just got to keep faith. Let's not go overboard on the predictions and everything. I know I probably did, but that's just me. And it is content at the end of the day as well. But like I said, we can't go overboard on certain scenarios, predictions, who's going to be what and what's going to happen. But Kwity Paye out producing Sam Tevi. Another thing is Michael Pittman Jr. is being highly used in training camp. They said they can put him in any place on the field, in which we knew already, and he's having himself a very good training camp. Zachary Pascal is another guy that had a good training camp. I heard Michael Pittman Jr. got into a little scuffle earlier as well with one of the safeties that we just acquired, which I thought was funny because I didn't see any film. I wanted to see a fight, but it is what it is. But yeah, those guys are having some good moments. But if you guys have been to the training camp or anything, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the camp at all. If you have seen or heard any news about it, let me know about that. Let me know your thoughts on Carson Wentz. All these things in the comment section. I'll be turning on your notice to know when I drop the next video. Also follow me on Twitter as well. But I appreciate each and every one of you. This is Marcus, and until next time, you've been Culture Shock.